Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Gonna skip the ads today, but just know that you can support my work by checking out the links in the description below. The main way you can support me is by wishlisting Alchemortis, so I'd appreciate that. So if you like the streams, if you like the game, give that a look if you could. And we're gonna be continuing on with the unlock tree stuff today. I think what I may do is maybe do some refactoring today or in this stream. I've got the unlocks. So the thing is, I've got the unlocks in a place where like they're functional and they're working, and now the rest of the work is just going to be polishing it up, getting everything migrated over. I added a little growth tween there for the vines. I may do some more work on that. Add some particles and whatnot. I want to make it really feel like the vines are kind of like growing over that spot. But yeah, we got to get, I don't know, we just got to get everything all set up. And of course, I've got to build out this tree some more. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing a bunch of hodgepodge things on this stream. I do really want to refactor my unlock system a little bit. I want to separate out this idea of challenges from the actual unlock resources, because those things are tightly coupled right now, and it's just adding a layer of confusion, which makes sense because they were tightly coupled before. But yeah, and we'll just see how all that goes. Also need icons for these things, animations and whatnot, all that good stuff. Tooltips. Yeah. Yep, just all that good stuff. Anyway, let's get right into it. Hello, Ashwin. Sorry I can't highlight your stream because my thing wasn't running before your message came in, but welcome back to the stream. Hello, Ninja Link. Welcome. Good to see you. Mel's. Hello, hello. Emerson, welcome. A the Ant. Good to see you again. Watching Firebell on my B-Day. Well, happy birthday to you, A the Ant. Thank you for the party hat. Oh, wow. That message highlight is quite large. Well, there's a giant party hat for everybody. Happy birthday, A the Ant, and thank you for the 20 jewels, whatever that means. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Feels birthday, man. Hello, Maxwell. Good to see you. No clue. Yeah. Okay. Alrighty, so there's a lot that I mentioned. What do I want to start with? Maybe I should start with making the tree a little bit bigger. I wonder if I could... Can I make this a little bit more helpful? Probably not. Anyway, let's just bite the bullet and do that, because it's gonna be useful to see all of the unlocks in tree structure, I think. So let's go to data unlock. So we got to implement all of these. Let's see. Do I have like an unlock registry? I do have an unlock registry. ID constants generator. All right, let's do some things here. We're going to go down a rabbit hole. Yes, we are. Yes, indeed. Artifact constructors. Card ID. So we're basically going to want to copy this card ID. So let's do this. Scripts data. Yeah. Unlock script path. Unlock ID. Let's do unlock string template. Static class. Unlock ID. This needs to be game.data.unlock. And this is script/data/unlock. Okay, so that should work. Unlock string template. All right, so where are we using the card script path down here? Okay, we need the card resource path, so we need the unlock resource path as well. So unlock resource path, resources data. I think it's just called resources data unlock, right? Yeah. So resources data unlock. Okay, so we basically need to... Let's do this. We're going to create a new static method. Private static void resource dir to ID constants. And we're going to do string resource directory and then string out file path, something like that. Yeah, that should work. And we're going to go in here. This will be resource directory. Resource directory. Let's just change this to IDs. We'll change this to resource files. Oh, this is loading the... Oh, this is loading it as a... Oh, I can't generalize this? That's kind of a bummer. That's a tool script. Do I really need to do this? Can I just load it as a resource? We don't need to call initialize. I don't think I need to do this. I think what I can do is just this ID here is resource path base name.split.last. So this becomes resource. Resource does not contain a definition for get base name. Are you serious to me? Oh, resource.resource path. There we go. Strings ID to upper invariant. Oh, we need the template file as well. Okay. Maybe we'll return the list of IDs out of here. So var card IDs is equal to resource dir to ID constants. This is the card resource path, card string template. This should probably be called script template. Card script path. Okay, var on we don't need to store the unlock IDs. We'll just do resource dir to ID constants, unlock resource path, unlock string template, unlock script path, unlock script. Oh goodness, I can't type. There we go. Well, I have no idea if that's going to work, but we'll see. So really all that should do is that should just give me the unlock IDs as constants. So we'll build this. You're welcome, the ant. We'll build this, then we'll do ID constants generator. Let's see if that worked. All right, we've got our unlock IDs now. That worked. And also the card IDs didn't change at all. So I can only assume that that worked. Cool, so we've got this unlock ID. So why did I do that? The reason why I did that is because now I can go to my unlock graph and all of this stuff can change. Unlock ID.cardPack deep C. Unlock ID.artifact noble pedigree. Artifact cloak. If I wanted to be really fancy, I could come up with a different way of relating these things to each other. But anyway, we'll figure that out later. Let's just go ahead and add all of these in. Is there an easy way to do this? Yeah, I mean, this might be one of those cases where it's going to be a little bit painful to do this at first, but artifact hammer. I've got Fleam hammer, so immortality elixir. So we're just going to go down this list, and actually I'll just take a screenshot so I don't have to keep flipping back and forth. What a neat util to build quick constants enums. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's just an editor script that basically reads through my resource directories and then just creates the C# mappings. One of the most helpful things is the card constructors. What this does is this essentially allows me to map a resource ID, which is just the resource file name, to the concrete class that needs to be instantiated based on that resource. So I could basically just say, hey, whenever I want the script that corresponds to the zombie custom resource, for example, I could just say get constructor and then invoke it there, and I get a new zombie instance, right? And the reason that's important is because this is where the abilities are defined for that zombie. So if I ever need to get a reference to like a zombie ability, I could just easily instantiate the zombie and then, you know, grab those abilities out of there. It's super nice. It's super nice. I definitely recommend investing some time in your tooling if you can. I'm kind of tempted to have Claude do this. But it's okay. I'm trying to think, like, is there a better way that I can define this relationship data? I mean, I think I can think of all kinds of ideas, but none of them are like going to meaningfully increase the speed. You know, I could design like a scene that I could run where I could assign all of these IDs to nodes and then do a very nice like connection. But the problem with doing that is that that's going to take a long time just to get that working. And the thing is, like, once the tree is built, it's like, I guess it might be kind of annoying, like, as I add more unlock conditions to have to, like, restructure the tree and everything. I need, like, a little tree designer tool that I can go in and very easily establish relationships. I don't know if I want to blow up the amount of work that I have, though. We already have the noble pedigree. Oops, wrong one. Once this data is defined, it's going to be easy to work with, I think, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Oh, okay, let's just do this. Here's a list of all the resources I need to do node from ID for. I've already done some. Finish filling out the node from ID variables. Let's just have Claude do that. I'm tired. Okay, that's pretty sick. Seems generic enough that could be open source tool too. Yeah, it could be. I was thinking like, because I use this registry pattern all the time now, where I have all my custom resources and they are set up in their own directories. And essentially what I want for each of these things is I want like a registry. So I would have like an artifact registry that gives me a bunch of like tooling for like allowing myself to get artifact resources by ID and creating artifact constructors from an ID and everything right like that, right? So I was thinking, is there a way that I could genericize this almost in like plugin form where I could define, like, here's the directories that serve as registries. And then for that to, just in a very generic manner, you know, create like a registry API for me to use. Because as it stands right now, I basically just have to keep creating the same files over and over again. So like, here's my artifact registry, and what does it do? On startup, it loads all of the artifact resources in the directory, and then it creates a mapping of the ID of the resource to the resource reference itself, right? And then I have like the character or the event registry, which is the same thing, right? It does the same exact thing. And so, I mean, I guess I could probably genericize it myself. Like I could create, I don't know, can you have static argument stuff? I don't think so. Static constructor must be parameterless. So I guess I guess it technically doesn't have to be. Like I could create a static wrapper of non-static classes, right? So I could create like a, you know, I could create like a public static registry or something, right? And then I could say public static event registry is equal to registry.from or something like that. And then here's my event definition resource or whatever. And then I pass in the path, right? Res. So if I could just do this, right, and initialize a registry and basically tell it what is the type of the things in that directory and also where to find them. And then for this registry to be, you know, accessible, right? Because then in the rest of the code base, all I need to do is like, oh, if I need the event type, I would just do registry dot event registry dot from ID or whatever, right? And I pass in my ID. And then in the registry itself, what I could do is I could even, could I do this? I would probably want to have like a constant generator as well. So I may have like another class which is generated, which is like public static registry constants or something, and then public static class like event types or whatever, and it would have like public const string event upgrade or whatever. I think something like that should be possible. I just haven't gotten around to like unifying that, but I wonder if there's a way to make it even more generic where it would be, I mean, I guess that would be generic enough. I could even elevate that to my Godot utilities. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Claude. Look at that. I was doing something else and it did it for me. Thank you. All right. So now I have all the nodes being created from the IDs there. I'm not familiar with Godot yet. Is it something you can only do in CS, or could you potentially do the same thing in GDScript? Well, I mean, yeah, you could do it in GDScript. I'm not doing anything fancy with C#. I'm basically just creating a string file. I'm just creating literally just a text file with the C# extension, and I'm just outputting valid C# script as a string, right? You could definitely do the same thing in GDScript. You just need to make sure whatever string you're outputting is valid GDScript, right? But as soon as you generate that file and you write it to somewhere in your project, it'll work, right? So I don't see a reason why you wouldn't be able to do that. Should definitely be possible. Tool script anyway, yeah. What does registry do? It's just a mapping of resources to IDs, because like, you know, if I need to know, again, the zombie card, it's useful to be able to get the zombie resource just from the ID. For example, with the save system, right? When I'm saving what cards you have in your inventory, I'm just saving the ID. So I need to have a way of going from that ID to the resource and ultimately to the concrete instance of the zombie. And the registry just makes all that stuff easier, right? Because then when I'm loading the save system, I can just say, okay, give me the class instance, or give me the instance of the class that corresponds to this ID, right? So that's all the registry does. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Seems like it should be possible. Yeah, I think so. Honestly, that's something I haven't given much thought to, like, because the registries are so simple. It's just like copy, paste, change a couple things, and then I don't need to touch them again. But it would be nice to create a more intentional pattern. The other thing that's a little bit annoying about the registries is that some of them have slightly different APIs. So like this one has a from type, which can take an event type and then return. So it creates an additional mapping, right? So in that case, I would need some way of being able to extend or augment the generic registry with like additional data, which again, I think that should be possible. It's just, yeah, it's just, I don't know if it's worth the effort to figure out how to get that to work in a generic way versus just, making them by themselves. Hello, Jackie Daytona. Welcome back. Good to see you. Okay, so we've got our unlock graph here. This is the part where it's going to be a little bit hard to keep track of, is the connections. Maybe I do need a way of designing this in a better way. Let me think. I almost wonder if just like a little dinky JSON file would work. Would something like this be easier to reason about? I don't think this is going to work. So the way I'm thinking about it is like this, each level in here represents the outgoing connections. So this would be artifact coals connects to artifact fleam and artifact ring. And then artifact fleam connects to artifact sapling and character priestess. But what happens if I wanted to loop the priestess back? Like, would doing something like this make sense? Artifact ring. So it like loops back to artifact ring. So what would the connection look like? You would go coals to fleam to priestess to ring, or you could go coals straight to ring. Does that make sense? Honestly, this probably doesn't even need to be JSON. I could just write this into the C# class directly. Would this be a better way of like defining the outgoing connections? Because then I could just define this in a dictionary And then I could just construct the tree structure from that. It might be a little bit easier to work with. Maybe. Does YAML format help in this format? Does it have to be a tree graph? Well, it's a graph, yeah. I use the word tree, but it's technically a graph. I think a tree implies that there are no loops, and also I think a tree implies that it's... maybe this is not technically true, but a tree generally feels like it's unidirectional, right? Like you go down the tree, but maybe that's not necessarily the case. But trees, I think, definitely at least imply that there's no loops. But that is not necessarily the case for like an unlock tree, right? Because I could put a 6th node here that's connected to these, and now I've got 2 different pathways to that same node. So that's just more of a traditional graph than a tree. But tree is the nomenclature that's used for just any kind of thing of this style for video games. So I'm using those kind of interchangeably. Does the Godot con talk about translating YAML to JSON? Yeah, I mean, that's what I don't think I need to go that far, because like the only times I'm ever going to need to change the tree are to like rebalance things or to add new content. And so I don't need to go the full like, oh, define it in a YAML file and then parse that and then get that over. Even if I'm just defining it directly in line, hard coded in here, that's probably okay. So let me try this. Let me try public class connection definition. I don't know. Let me just play around with. I think it's important to figure out how I'm going to do this. So this would be a dictionary of string to connection. I don't even know if I'm setting this up correctly. Dictionary string. I need this to be like an indefinitely deep kind of thing. I always forget how to actually define this. Oh. New. Okay, and then we would do something like this. So let's just see if I can represent this. So this would be unlock id.cardPack deep C is equal to new Am I doing this wrong? Because I'd have to do this every time, and that's kind of annoying. Is there a way to create like a... Am I thinking about this wrong? Because what I really need this to be is like an indefinitely deep... like string, dictionary, string, dictionary, string. You know what I mean? Is there a better way to do that? I feel like this should be basic C#. Could probably create a data-driven custom resource flow. Yeah, I think that may be overkill, but I might have to do that. We able to unlock cards or just artifacts and characters? No, everything. All the unlocks in the game are going to be moving to the tree. So you'll be able to unlock cards, you'll be able to unlock artifacts, characters. Maybe I'm thinking about including lore drops with all the unlocks too. That would be a nice way of delivering lore, I think. But we'll see. Proc gen unlock tree. Actually, that was a game idea that I had before I worked on Alchemortis. I thought it would be kind of cool to have a roguelike game that was entirely focused around the upgrade tree, but your upgrade tree was somewhat randomized from run to run. So it's like you're using a brand new skill tree every run, and the entire game would revolve around, you know, getting points somehow to invest in your skill tree, but then the skill tree would be changed from run to run, so there wouldn't be like a meta necessarily. So you'd have to make new decisions every run about like where you invest your points. That may be the kind of game where also like an auto battler may be suited for that, because then you could, of course, you know, you get items that fit into your build, and then you would want to take certain skill tree regions that would work with your build better and all that stuff. Still an interesting idea. I may still explore that because I think there's something there, but I think it would also be really hard to design. Hello, Amir. Welcome. Our challenge is going to be the equivalent of achievements then? Yes, the idea is that challenges are the things that earn you the unlock points. And a challenge could be anything like win 10 runs, or win a game with the priestess, or beat the game on difficulty 3, or apply 20,000 total poison, right? Or win the game with 7 ritual items on your board. Like, those are the kind of challenges. And then the first time you complete a challenge, it will give you an unlock point. And then you use the unlock point to invest in your unlock tree. So the idea is that the way it's going to work ultimately is that in the early phases of the game, you're probably going to get unlock points very frequently that you can spend on the tree because, you know, there's all these things you haven't unlocked yet, right? But then as you play the game more and more, your progression will slow down a bit because you're going to have to like play in a targeted way to achieve the challenges that you haven't yet achieved so that you can get more skill points to finish out your tree, right? So I like this idea. I think it gives players more agency over this, but also it allows me to pace the unlocks a little bit better. One of the common complaints from the recent playtest is that unlocking all the characters was too easy. And I sort of agree. And the reason why it was too easy is because you can make a lot of parallel progress across multiple unlock conditions in a single run. And so you may unlock like 5 things at the end of a run. Now that's still going to be the case with the unlock tree. However, I can put characters, I can like require an explicit amount of investment or minimum investment in the skill tree before you unlock a character, right? So I could say, instead of the priestess just being unlocked because you had one good run with poison, the priestess now requires an investment of 5 points in the skill tree, right? Or in the unlock tree. So I feel like I'm going to be able to pace the unlocks a lot better. And I still think like taking the challenge-based approach to it is more interesting than doing like a meta currency kind of thing. So yeah, that's the way I'm going to do it, but we'll see. Still working on the unlocks. Yeah, it's going to be a while of working on this, I think. Balancing that seems challenging. Save that idea for endless mode of sorts, maybe. Yeah. I do think it's an interesting idea. I do think it would be hard to make, though. Nodes that get you nothing but skill points. Totally go for them even during a good run. Yeah, maybe. So does this connect to the Steam achievements somehow? I may just make the Steam achievements 1-to-1 with the challenges. Wild Frost has a similar unlock system. Oh, okay. Do you like that system, Maxwell? I'm still looking for feedback on my proposed unlock system because I'm not 100%. I haven't 100% made up my mind on. I haven't 100% made up my mind on if I'm going to go with this system. So if you have any objections or concerns, feel free to put them in the chat. Let me look this up. I might just copy and paste this result from Google. I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's see. So we've got card unlock. So card pack Deep Sea goes to artifact noble pedigree and artifact fleam. So this would be unlock ID dot artifact noble pedigree. And then unlock ID dot artifact. Let me see if I can get back to one-to-one representation with this. So then artifact noble pedigree goes to artifact coals. So this one would become new unlock ID dot artifact coals. And then artifact fleam goes to artifact cloak. So this one would become new unlock ID dot artifact. What did I say? Artifact cloak. So this looks a little bit easier to understand because I know that this one connects to this one, and then this one connects to this one. Let's make artifact coal. Well, let's not change anything. Let's just see if I get a one-to-one output here. So public nestable dict connections, right. So now we want to iterate over all of those things and establish the outgoing connections. So I probably don't need this node from ID anymore because I can just use these keys to construct the list. Node from ID, all graph nodes. Let's do this. If all graph nodes dot contains, let's do this. Existing node is equal to all graph nodes first or default. X dot unlock definition resort ID equals ID. If existing node is not equal to null, we'll just return existing node. Otherwise, we'll create a new one and add it and return it. Okay, so this should work. Incentivizes trying new cards, but then you get an unlock that fits the theme of the cards you just played, so it sort of defeated the purpose. The way you want to do it is better since your challenges give points that the player can choose how they spend on the next unlock. Okay. Do you plan on defining the graph in code? Yeah, I'm just going to define it here. Hello, Rin, welcome back. Good to see you again. So for each var, maybe I want recursion here. Oh gosh. I'm not feeling mentally 100% today, so I'm probably going to flounder through this, but I'm probably going to want something like a recursively private void, recursively build connections, nested dict string from dict, and then we're going to say for each var key value pair in from dict, we want to take, so this is a key and we've got this. Var root node is equal to node from ID kvp.key. We only want the immediate connections. So for each var key in kvp.value.keys, var connected node is equal to node from ID key root node dot outgoing connections dot add connected node, and then we're also going to want to do recursively build connections for kvp.value key, right? Did I do that correctly? That seems right to me, but I've been wrong before. This probably would be better if I just did for each var key value, or just do val, because value is a keyword. So key for each var connected key in value val.keys. We want to create, this needs to be connected key and this needs to be connected key. I think I did it right. So we iterate over the top level. We have one key value pair, which is cardpack deep C, which has a value of a nested dict. We're saying, okay, so for each of the keys in the value.keys, which would be this and this, we create a new node from those keys or use the existing node if it already exists. And then we take that node that we're iterating over in this loop, and we're saying add that as an outgoing connection. But then for that node, for that connected node, we want to build its own graph of outgoing connections. And then that will just go as deep as the dictionary is. I'm fairly certain that that's correct, but let's just try this. Recursively build connections. So I don't need all of these then. So this was just a waste, but that's okay. And I don't need any of this. So I can define all the connections here, build the data up here, and if I did it correctly, then I should see basically no change when I rebuild this scene. So let me build. Okay, let me just be extra sure. I'm just going to manually delete these lines. Let's see what happens. Oh, didn't work. It only connected these two. Noble pedigree to Coles. So we get, let's see, recursively build connections, val connected key. So the connected key is going to be this one. So it's going to pass that in. Does it have something to do with the fact that this is an empty dict? Oh, you know what? That's probably it, right? No? We might have to debug this. Well, let's do a good old debugging session. Okay. So our root node here, our key is cardpack deep C. So our connected key is artifact noble pedigree. That's true. We create a connected node for that. We add that to our root node as a connection. Then we call recursively build connections. Okay. Our from dict here is artifact cols. That's correct. Is it correct? Did it skip over the noble pedigree? I feel like I'm doing something very basically wrong here. I think it skipped over the noble pedigree. Yeah, it's doing artifact cols now. Oh, wait a minute. This just needs to be val. I was skipping over it. Yeah, this just needs to be this object. Right. Okay. That should function. I was just completely skipping over it by just reading in further. That makes sense. So now if I build this, boom, our lines are now related. Excellent. So we are back to exactly where we started. However, I now have what I think is a nicer way of doing this. Now, the one thing that I do want to try is what happens if I want to relate the artifact cloak to the artifact noble pedigree, right? So we're going to go into the cloak here, and we're just going to say new, and we're going to do unlock ID dot artifact noble pedigree. We're just going to say we want to connect that one back. I'm hoping that that works. What I should see is I should see a line going from here to there, right? And furthermore, what I should see is, assuming I have enough points, is I should be able to go here, here, and here. Now, I actually don't know if I'm checking, because the outgoing connections are only one way. So I don't know if I have a way of checking if I'm on this one to see if this is in the set of outgoing connections of any other node. I need a way of giving myself more more unlocks. Let's see, artifact, noble pedigree, and then let's also do artifact fleam. Let's also do artifact ring. So that should give me 5 unlock points. So let's take a gander. Did not expect to see you online 7 a.m. here. Yeah, I've been doing afternoon streams recently. So if I do this and then that, oh, that's not right. And I can't click on this one. So I don't really have bi-directional support here. I don't have bi-directional support. But it should work if I do this and this and this and then that. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? I was thinking maybe it doesn't make sense for these lines to both like light up, but I guess it does make sense, right? No, it doesn't make sense because if I do this, it makes it look like this one's connected to that one, and that's not the case. That should be fixable though. So I'm defining the data in a unidirectional way, but what I really want is I want it to be bidirectional, right? Because it doesn't really matter which direction I'm coming from. If there's a line here, this is not a directional line. I should be able to go here, here, and here, or here, 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 and then there. So I'm gonna have to think about that as well. Today I watched your old code review videos. Any plans on resuming reviews, even if 1 or 2 a week, maybe a month? You planning to concentrate on your current project? Yeah, the thing is, like, I have to get Alchemortis done, so I haven't been spending a whole lot of time making YouTube videos. I would like to get back to that at some point, but, you know, unfortunately there's a limited amount of time in the day, so I have to make decisions about what I spend my time on. And if I want Alchemortis to release this year, then that means that the vast majority of my time has to be spent on this. Because YouTube videos are very time consuming, right? Because when I do the code review videos, what I have to do is I have to, first of all, find a project that looks like something I can talk about from all the submissions. Then I have to download the project, make sure that I've got the right version of Godot. Then I've got to, you know, open it up. I usually poke around in the project a little bit first to see if there are interesting things for me to talk about. And then I got to record the video, do all that. And then I have to edit it, right? Because the code review videos may end up being much longer than what I push to YouTube, depending on like, because I just talk about it in a very freeform way. And then I have to go back through and like cut out the sections that aren't relevant or helpful or interesting. So I would like to get back to it, but it does take quite a bit of time. It's connected to the active ones only, so no. We're going with the dynamic layout as well. The layout is not dynamic. The way I've set this up is that I will create the structure in here like this. I will arrange the nodes, and then I can use this tool to place the lines. And the lines are placed based on that data that we're defining in the unlock graph. So I will manually design how the tree looks, and then the lines can be placed dynamically based on the data. So all of these things are like, these are all filled in with a tool script. It's kind of confusing. Traditionally, you have to have both unlocks linked to the final unlock, not just one. I don't know if that's traditional, because that's not the way it works in like Path of Exile, for example, right? You just need one connection leading into the unlock. But I could make it that way. The thing is, if I require like all of the incoming connections to be acquired before you can unlock this one, I don't know, that kind of defeats the freedom of movement that you could have through, like what I would want, I think, is for there to be multiple paths to some unlocks. So you may go down this branch and then ultimately end up choosing the lich down here or whatever. Or you may go down this branch and then that may loop to the lich as well, right? But if you require both, then that means you have to invest fully down this branch and fully down that branch before you can get the lich. I don't know if that would be... I don't know if that's something that I want to do. 2 live streams a day is a lot of videos. I'd pay a lot for 25-hour days. Seems like a lot of work. I understand your decision. My history is littered with Firebelly. Awesome. Anyway, we can think about those problems later. I think what I want to do is just get the tree more filled out here. Let's see. This one. Get the tree more filled out and we can take a look. Hello, Odoswi. Read the chat. Oh no, you're gonna test me again. Welcome back. In PoE, you don't have node requirements, just a path that links to a node. Yeah. But I don't know, we can play with it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Okay, I'm gonna take my customary 3-minute break. Actually, let me commit this. Oops. Commit this. We'll keep the comments in there for now. Okay, I will be right back in just 3 minutes and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. I don't really consider PoE to have a skill tree. That might just be a technicality, though. Yeah, that's true. I mean, then my game doesn't have a skill tree either, right? It's an unlock tree. My vision of something that looks like a skill tree is a bit outdated now. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, Like I said, this isn't even technically a tree. Like if we want to be really pedantic, this is an unlock graph, right? Should I say that's what the player to the players, right? Oh, here's your unlock graph. People will be like, "What the hell? This isn't a bar chart." What is this developer talking about? A graph? I don't see any lines or bar charts, pie charts. If you ever decide to make YouTube your primary source of income, I'll be the first one to buy the 3-minute break t-shirt and or trucker hat merch. Trucker hat merch, that'd be funny. I don't think I have a feeling that like trucker hat purchasers are not my main demographic, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong about many things in my life. You need the latest Excel version to unlock the unlocks. And who invented the pie chart? I have no idea. I have no idea. Seems like something Mr. Venn would do, of Venn diagram fame. Anyway. Okay, artifact noble pedigree, artifact cloak, artifact coals, artifact fleam, artifact hammer. Okay. Artifact immortality elixir. Manticore stinger. I'm gonna put this, I'm gonna be fancy. I'm gonna put this in 2 places. Okay. Before I go any further, I might make this a little bit easier on myself. Let's see. Let's call this node root. We'll call it unlock node root, I suppose. Let's duplicate this. Do I want to duplicate that? Yeah, let's duplicate this. We'll call this unlock tree item template. We'll make that invisible. Unlock tree items. I'm going to do something that's hopefully going to be a little bit easy for me. Unlock tree item template. And then we're also going to do node private control. Let's just do node. Unlock tree items dot get children of type Get children. Why is this not working? Unlock tree items. Oh. We'll call this unlock tree items root, I guess. Root. Let's do this. For each of our graph node in unlock graph, all graph nodes. If not, unlock tree items dot any x.id. Unlock resource ID is equal to graph node.id. Then what we'll do is we'll say var duped is equal to unlock tree item template dot duplicate as unlock tree item. We are going to do tree item unlock tree items root add child duped. We're going to say duped dot unlock resource ID is equal to graph node dot unlock definition resource ID. We'll just go ahead and make this publicly settable, I suppose. We're going to say duped dot owner is equal to editor interface dot singleton dot get edited scene root. And then we're also going to say duped dot name is equal to this. This is just a tool script, so I'm not going to worry about being so pedantic about it, but let's see. Graph node dot unlock definition resource ID. Actually, I wonder if I should do this. Then we'll reassign unlock tree items. Okay, so that's just going to automatically create new tree items for every new thing that's in the graph, I think. Let's see if that works. Florence Nightingale. Generic graphs are more commonly stored as nodes and edges in a separate, in separate collections, but that approach kind of needs an editor. Yeah. Let's see if I broke everything. Maybe I should stage this before I run this script. Okay. You know what I should do, actually? Should I just have these lines update every frame? Okay, hold on a second. We're just gonna make this tool script like really beefy, I guess. But anyway, so that created a bunch of brand new, so for any node that exists in the graph but does not exist in the scene, it creates a new scene for me, and it sets up the artifact resource ID. So that's great, because basically I don't want to have to do any configuration in this scene. All I want to be able to do in this scene is like move these around, right? I could, in theory, derive the position of each of the nodes from the graph structure, But the problem is maybe I want to do something a little bit more stylistic with some parts of the tree. Like maybe if there's just like a straight line leaf edge coming out of here, maybe I'd want to make it a little bit curved, right? Just to give it a little bit of flair. So I don't really want to derive the positions of everything from the graph structure. I want to have the ability to specify where in space these nodes are. What I really care about is making sure that the connections are maintained. But what I think I might do is this might not be a good idea, but let's see. What signals do we have on control? Did I scroll past the signals? Signals, focus entered, mouse exited, resized, theme changed. Okay, so maybe it's not a control specific one. Let's just look at the signals list here. Item rect changed, emitted when the boundaries, position, or size change, or when an action took place that may have affected these boundaries. I mean, this may be a bad idea, but let's just do this. Tree item dot item rect changed plus equals on tree item rect changed. We'll just run that whole operation again. Okay. Duped, and then I have no idea if this is going to work, but let's see. Pythagoras, obviously. Godot ships with ready-made graph editor things, though not very well documented last I checked. Yeah, I think that might be... That might just be a little bit overkill. I've tried using the graph structure or the graph nodes for things before, but they are very hard to work with. I'm using Bazite now. What is that? Am I getting memed? What is Bazite? All right, let's see what happens. Look at that. Now that is a heavy operation. My scene is definitely not. So I probably want to detect, if I wanted to make this more more sensible, probably would want to do something else about that, but It's okay, I can deal with a little bit of lag. I mean, this is probably going to get worse as I have more nodes, but probably we'll want to try to figure out a way of making it so that this only updates when I'm done dragging it. Although I don't know how I would do that, but so there we go. So the lines are updating. So this is a very nice way of doing it because now I can add new things to the tree. The lines will be automatically connected, and then I don't have to like try to keep in my head like how the connections are happening. The connections are defined and they're updated all the time as I'm dragging. So yeah, that works great. Now maybe a better thing to do would be to just update the line positions in process instead of calling that whole method again. Is there a reason why I need to call that method every time? I don't think so, actually. Maybe I should just make all of these process. Well, I mean, that works, but let me see if I can do this. We're just doing all kinds of exploration today. I don't really have a whole lot of experience writing tool scripts, so it's kind of fun to do this. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, we'll just do set physics process engine.isEditor hint public override void physics process. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. Let's do this. Global position is equal to item A dot global position plus item A dot size divided by 2. Points is equal to vector 2.0 to local item B dot global position plus size item B dot size divided by 2, and then selected line dot points is equal to points. Maybe that's better because I don't really need this to be doing that heavy operation every frame. So unlock tree item, where is that? Here it is. No, unlock tree. We'll just get rid of this. All that hard work. I think it's going to be worth it though, because I am going to be adding more unlock conditions and whatnot. How did you do the animated border line of some sprites? Are they a normal animation or a shader? It's a shader, yeah. Basically, you take an outline shader and then you have a radial cone, essentially, that you determine whether you want to draw the outline or not, and then you just rotate that cone around according to some like uniform value, and that's how you get the rotating outline. Okay, let's see if it works. Unlock tree. So I should be able to still call place lines, and then Okay, that's much nicer. Look at that. Not laggy at all. Cool. So, you know, that's still not optimal because obviously we don't want this to be updating if the points aren't changing. But, you know, I mean, even if there's 100 lines all processing once per physics frame, it's like, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's certainly lighter than it was, which is good. Okay. So now, basically, I've got this scene in the position that I want, which is I can just position these things manually, but all the data is being read to connect them up automatically. Cool. This is not scrolling. Do I want to fix that issue now? Sweet. It's getting there. It's getting there. So where did I stop? Manticore Stinger, Artifact Ring. So this may be a situation where I also have these ordered. These are being sorted based on their Y value and then by their X value. So the order of this tree is this one, and then this, 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 and then this. So that makes it easier for me to select things in the tree. So I know if I want to select this whole column, I just select every other one and I can move it over, right? So we do this, and then I can do the opposite over here, right? And then I want to put one in the middle. So we've got coals and hammer. So we want hammer to go to ring, and we want coals to go to ring. So if I go in here, I can say unlock id.ring. And then we said coals goes to ring as well, or hammer goes to ring. So unlock id dot. Okay. So we build that. Does that rebuild? Let's see. So if I do this, oh, it does reinitialize that. Cool. There we go. See? And I call place lines again to reorder that. Look at that. I don't need to test this every time, but just cool to see the tool working, you know? That one should not be, yeah, that one should not be highlighted. I guess these, yeah, what I need to do is I need to only mark these as connected if both ends are activated, right? I think that's what I need to do. But do you see what I mean? Like, this gives me the ability now to design the tree where I could have like shortcuts, right? So I could go down here this way, right? I might even do that. So I might take this one and connect to that one, whatever it is. So instead of this one leading into that one, we would say artifact ring goes to artifact cloak. Right? So I do that, I build. This should just automatically update. So if I click build here, place lines, boom. So I've got some asymmetry. I need to figure out how to get this grid aligned as well, because I don't think it's... The grid is weird because I need it to be centered in this reference rect here. So I just got to figure out, like... I mean, I could change the grid offset, maybe? Can I change the grid offset? Configure snap. Grid offset. Does that make a difference? Ugh. See, I'm like one grid column off. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Could I do like a, let's see. Configure snap 16 by 16. Got 3 columns there. 2 columns there. Son of a biscuit. So it's just not going to be centered, at least with this value that I'm using. Yeah, whatever. I'm not going to get it perfect, but at least I can, you know, sort of align it. Why do these ones feel different? 102. It's the same. It's the same. Hello, Royal Munjask. Welcome back. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Oh, I know why this isn't scrolling. I do need to go in. So this might be another thing that I do with the tool, is maybe change this custom minimum size. But I'll just do this. That should make it able to scroll now in the unlock menu. Cool. Yeah, I would say that's working pretty good. Great, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Glad to hear that. Yeah, these only need to highlight if both edges are unlocked, or both nodes are unlocked. So can I, is there a way to do that? Let's see if we can figure that out. There should be a way. The next big thing to figure out would be how to populate the icons for those things as well. That may be one of those cases where I just have to define the icons by hand. Not necessarily draw unique icons, but just like tell the game what I want to show as the icon file. if item a dot is, let me think about this. I think I would do if item a dot is unlocked is not equal to false, b dot is unlocked is not equal to false. Then we play the unlock here, right? So let's see if that works. Hope the controller support for the tree isn't something to worry about. It shouldn't be. The main problem with the controller support here is going to be the scrolling, but that's a problem throughout the game. Like, I haven't yet figured out what would be a good way of scrolling the controller. So I definitely need to work on that, but let's see. Okay, so now I can't click this one. And that's something that I want to do. I know we were discussing, like, well, maybe it should only be, you know, both things have to lead into it in order to unlock it, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Because I want the player to be able to do some kind of like winding paths through the tree. So this unlock tree item, we have the clickable validator can unlock. Unlock points remaining, incoming nodes that count. This is a little bit of a heavy operation too. I think what I probably should do is I should probably establish the bidirectional relationship from the data. Yeah, I mean, do I even need outgoing connections here? I don't think so. Actually, let's just make this simpler. Let's just make this a hash set, and we'll just call it connections. And we don't really care. Well, we do care, actually. We don't want to draw two pairs of lines. So we want to keep the outgoing connections, but then we want to do probably just like a hash set. So this can stay a list, actually. But then for this hash set, we'll do unlock graph node bidirectional connections. Or maybe just like all connections. Okay, so then we're going to do root node dot all connections dot add connected node, and then in here, connected node all connections dot add root node. Okay, so now this can be just let's see. I guess I'll store the incoming connections as well. Yeah. I think that makes sense. Maybe not. Graph node dot incoming connections dot contains. Wait. Wait, I can just use all connections here. What am I doing? I created that all connections specifically for that. Well, I have a feeling I did something wrong, but let's see. Hello, JK, welcome. Good to see you. The problem is I don't have enough skill points, unlock points to do this. That goes the wrong way. That's annoying. But I can fix that later. So now I can kind of take like a winding path through, and just for good measure, character, let's just see if I can create that full loop without issue. Excited for the game. I'm currently working on my first game jam, fingers crossed. Excellent. Well, good luck to you. Okay. So we're getting there. We are definitely getting there. We are definitely getting there. I wonder if I should darken that more. Maybe not. I think this is going to look a lot better once there are icons in here. Skill issue. I saw that on my kid's computer. Oh, is Bazite a Linux thing? Hello, V. Welcome. Good to see you. This is a unlock tree. This is the new way that you will acquire unlocks in Alchemortis. So yeah, should be cool. Did I make the pixel art myself? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All the pixel art is done by me by hand. Yep, indeed. Yeah, so there's still... I need to figure out a way of displaying the challenges that you can do. So basically... Like these things need to go away. Like this needs to become a challenge. And then this needs to say something like unlocked by unlocking it in the skill tree or whatever. Unlocked in the unlocked tree. But then this challenge, this heal 5,000 in a single run, that needs to move somewhere else. You know, I could just make a drawer in here that you can pop out to see the challenges. Yeah, I've got room in here, so maybe I'll do that. I mean, I was thinking the skill tree might be a little bit sprawling, but you know, I could put the skill tree off to the side and use like 75% of this space, and then, well, that might not work either. I could also do like a tab view instead, where you've got one tab which is the skill tree and the other tab which is the challenge list. I'm gonna have to think about that. And then the item bundles. I might have to do like a tab view here too. Or I just merge everything into one view. So we've got the artifacts and the characters and the item bundles, which I can't actually access right now. Put all of those into like a current unlocks list, because they all look the same anyway. So I could put like little headers that say like, here's the characters and here's the items and all that stuff. And the artifacts. But yeah, I gotta make room in this screen. The other option is to compress these buttons into like icon buttons instead, and then have like a tooltip on hover that says what they are. And then just keep the distinct views that I have. So yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that. I don't know exactly what, but looks good. Glad you like it. I have no motivation to make a serious commercial game or anything 2D. Just want to make meme PSX 3D horror games. Hey, that's fine. Not every game development effort has to be totally 100% serious. Welcome, Beatus, by the way. How many of these trees are you going to have? Will there be item, artifact, and character tree all separate from each other, or will they all be combined into one massively sprawling tree? They'll all be combined into one sprawling tree. So like this one, this might be the deep sea pack here, the first one, right? And then, you know, this down here might be like the priestess. You know what I mean? And so it'll just be a big old tree that contains all of the unlockable things. And depending on how many unlocks we have, let's see. I don't even know how many I have right now. I guess we could go in here. 5 to 26, right? So that's, oh gosh. 23, wait, 20, does it say how many lines I have selected? $22, because you have to count 5, right? So we have 22 unlocks. So if there's like 50 different unlocks, then there would be 50 challenges and 50 skill point things, or unlock tree nodes. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this though. Now the question is, do I want to allow refunding points? It's a good looking tree, you like it? I think obviously I would put some extra decorations in here too to fill this out, but I'm imagining making this like super satisfying to unlock something, and then like the vines grow and plays like a really nice crunchy like vine growing sound, and then like some leaf particles come out as it's growing, and you know, we could play like a little sheen effect when you unlock something so it looks super nice. So unlock tree makes me think of trellises. Oh, that's, yeah, that's good. Could easily see there being like 5 different starting nodes. Yeah, actually, that's a good idea, having multiple different starting locations. Yeah, that can definitely happen. Some random dead ends tossed in. Yeah, I mean, I think what I want to do is I want to get at least all the unlocks that I have baked into the tree, and then once I have all of the options in the tree, I can start to play around with more interesting pathing, and that also gives me a good amount of control over the pacing as well, right? So yeah, I think like maybe a character might exist at a dead end, right? So it's like you invest 3 points to get to the character down here, but then it's not connected to anything else, so then you just got to continue from where you were, you know? Where's necromancy? Yeah, this game didn't end up being much of a necromancer game, did it? I mean, I guess you've got undead constructs and whatnot, but I mean, that's kind of expected, right? Because the whole theme of the game is that, like, the alchemy is the core of the world, and, like, all of the magic is achieved through alchemy for the most part. I mean, I even have a bit of lore. I don't know how many people read the flavor text, but I have a bit of lore about how the Inquisition has their own secret alchemists who are basically like opposition research. They do counter alchemies, counter alchemical experiments to fight the occult forces. So like that's the idea behind the world, is like everything magic is actually achieved through like this pseudoscience of alchemy. I think this skill tree too, like I think it would be cool to have like lore dumps with each of these items. So you unlock something and it's like, oh, new lore, and like you can read about it. That would be a really nice way of delivering lore in the game, I think. So like not only are you unlocking new content, but you're actually piecing together the story as well as you're unlocking these things. And then this becomes a really easy way of presenting the lore too, because you can just click in here and like open the lore back up and see what's going on. You know? I think that would be dope. No offense. All right, well, tell you what, I'm going to go take a break from this. Going to go eat some dinner. But thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. If you're interested, you can wishlist Alka Mortis on Steam. It's my roguelike auto battler, which many of you know, but in case there's anyone new here watching, it's a roguelike auto battler where you use alchemy to create your own builds and synergies. So if that sounds interesting to you, give it a look. Wishlist it if you're interested. I appreciate all the support, everybody. Thank you for being here, and I will be back at it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern on YouTube and also on Twitch. So I hope to see you there. And yeah, bye-bye for now.